Just at morning skate today, and I'm wondering if we can talk a little bit about what Jesper Boqvist has done, particularly in the last maybe 6 weeks, to really put himself in a position where he went from the beginning of the year sitting out a bit to now on that second line. And what have you seen from him?
I've seen real strong play, uh, skating really well. Speed's been one thing that's really been evident. Real good two-way game. I think with new pieces coming in, we've got an opportunity to try players in different spots, and um, you know, with the schedule we've got, try to balance the lines. Take a little ice time off the top and see if we can just find continuity and may take a couple games. There's a lot of times you can, by switching things around, you can find chemistry amongst guys that haven't played together.
Was there any sort of apprehension on splitting up what was that third line that was very effective?
I think there's always apprehension, and there's immediately the thought that you can always go right back to it. So, you look at Nico Tatar and Merce. So when you want to try to change things around, there's always somebody that has to move around that maybe was going good in a different spot. But out of that, sometimes you'll find a group that'll get going even better and help your team.
How can Brett kind of help those two guys down there? Obviously, a little similar player to Boqvist, but maybe a little more speed.
Well, as we said, I don't know if they needed any help. I think, we're probably looking for those guys to help Bratter out a little bit, help him on the 5-and-5 side, create more opportunities for him. We're just trying to balance the speed of all the lines, and sometimes it works. Sometimes you'll, and I think we've seen it this year. There's oftentimes during the middle of the game that even last game the lines changed, and I think we got in the second period we got a pretty good result from kind of flipping things around for a while.
Lindy, when you integrate new players at a time where the schedule is so busy, so you don't get a lot of practices in, like how much off-ice mental workload is there right now for a guy like Timo to learn the system, and even for is Curtis having some conversations from abroad at this point too?
Well, I think that you have an opportunity like we did yesterday where we decided to rest them, but when we got in, we had a meeting. We went through some stuff from the previous game. We want to put games away real quick. Really, it was a painful loss, and we've been pretty good at staying around games and winning games, and we gave one away, and I think that everybody went home with a bad taste in their mouth. So we went through some of the plays. We talked about the situations. We talked about areas we got to continue to grow going down the stretch here.
Is there any update on when Czar might be able to join you?
It looks like he'll join us in Montreal.
When you have a guy like Timo, who's a veteran player coming into your team, what do you make of kind of his adjustment and how long it takes for him to kind of get used to systems, new line mates, that whole thing?
Well, I think he's fit in well. He's played the system. There's nothing system-wise that you would look at and say, boy, he needs a little more time to adjust. I think adjusting to teammates' habits is always something that takes a little time, takes a few games, and sometimes you can get instant chemistry. Sometimes you can have struggles. I don't think he struggled at all. I think even some of our guys got to get used to how he plays.
Do you think ultimately, obviously he's learning from his line mates now, but do you think ultimately he could help those other guys because he is an experienced guy, has been through some things maybe they haven't been through before?
Yeah. I think he brings, like I said, he brings big, strong body, skates, physicality, hangs on the puck slow. He's played in a lot of different situations, and we're looking for his, some of his veteran leadership to help us out.
I just want to know what you could say about the toughness and leadership from a guy like Ondrej Palat.
Well, you look what he went through and came back last game, and how well he played. I think he's been through the war. He knows what it's like. He suffered some pain in Tampa when they lost a playoff series, and then they learned from that, and then almost won 3 straight. So you can tell that the little things aren't going to keep him out of the lineup. He even tried to get ahead of schedule on the injury he had this year, and he's a consummate pro.
Is this the time of year where his value goes up as you go forward here, because he has been through these?
Well, I think the history of him is the bigger the games, the better he's been, and I think we're starting to see that. And I think you need that from your veteran guys, the guys that have been in the trenches and in the wars, and this last segment of games for us. We want to continue to get better, and I think that you have to lean on players like that.
How you are feeling now after that?
Yeah, feel fine. Passed all the tests, so feel great.
Was it just that awkward collision? Like, how did that?
Yeah, I just went in for the hit, and it was just a freak thing. He didn't mean to do it on purpose. He was just shooting the puck, and his arm came up and whacked me right in the head. So,
I'm wondering what the mental fortitude is like as you go into the final part of a season when you know you're in that playoff race, you're in that hunt and in that spot versus all the other years. Is it easier? Is it different? Like, what's different about it?
it's much more fun playing. In the past, the last 20 games, you just kind of play just to play.
Yeah.
You're certainly still trying to prove yourself, but this time of year when you're in a playoff spot, it's a lot more fun to play because now we're trying to, fight for a seeding, and that's what we're after.
For you, are you feeling that rejuvenation of the chemistry with your line, with your own play, the way you've been contributing in all aspects? What are you liking about how things are going right now?
Yeah, we're certainly on the right path heading into the playoffs. I think our line has, clicked as of late, and, it's just trying to build game to game and try to improve.
I would imagine that's satisfying, particularly at this time of year for you.
Yeah, it is. I think a lot of people are starting to play well at this time of year. Bo's starting to pick up his game as well, and it's been great to see.
What's it like to see someone like Bo, get that chance on that second line today?
Yeah, he's worked extremely hard for it. He's been in and out of the lineup, at the start of the year,
Yeah.
but now he's really proved himself as a guy that can play each night, and I'm happy for him. He's a great kid.
Pally, that play there, obviously. How are you feeling after that?
I'm good. Yeah, I 3 teeth got chipped out and a couple stitches, but nothing crazy.
I think one of the things that Lindy said after the game is, what type of character you have that you race to get back to be able to play. Is that just a competitor's mentality?
I'm not sure. They just stitched me up. I think every player would do that. I came back, so it wasn't that crazy. It was just, I just needed a couple stitches, and that was it.
I'm wondering, with your experience, what is the mentality like for a team that's trying to make that push for the playoffs versus, a team that is not sort of in the race? And what type of mental fortitude does that take?
You're just trying to get better. Last couple of games we give away too much. We would like to reduce that. We have a lead, 5 minutes left, and we lost that game without any points. So we need to learn from that. We need to be tighter a little bit in a neutral zone and learn from that.
Does it take a different sort of mental capacity, though, these last couple of games versus, I guess, I'm trying to get at, what is that experience like mentally for a team gearing up for the playoffs versus, going through the final last games knowing that you don't have the spot?
No, it's fun. Everybody's excited. Everybody wants to get better in their game. And same for us, we want to get better, but we're enjoying it, right?
Yeah.
I was talking to the guys, last year was painful when, by January you're not going to make it, and it's hard to play those games. So right now we're enjoying it, trying to play our best, learn from our mistake, and get ready for a playoff.
Thanks, Pally.
Yeah.